James adjusted his diplomatic uniform nervously as he entered the Grand Council chamber of the Zephyrian flagship. The ceiling stretched impossibly high above him, adorned with bioluminescent patterns that pulsed like a living heartbeat. Representatives from dozens of alien species filled the amphitheater-style seating, their various forms creating a tapestry of colors, textures, and geometries that would have been overwhelming to most humans. But James wasn't most humans. As Earth's youngest, xenodiplomat, he had spent 3 years learning the intricate protocols of interspecies relations. Today marked humanity's first formal invitation to the Galactic Collective's annual summit, a privilege earned through months of careful negotiations led by his partner, Niaz, who now stood at the speaker's podium representing their species. Naz's voice carried clearly through the chamber's translation matrix as she outlined humanity's proposal for joint exploration of the Andromeda Spiral. Her dark eyes sparkled with the same determination that had made her the first human to successfully decode the Zephyrian mathematical language systems. James felt a surge of pride watching her command the attention of beings whose civilizations had spanned millennia before Earth had even cooled from its formation. The presentation concluded to a mixture of curious chittering harmonic tones and electromagnetic pulses that the translation system rendered as polite applause. As delegates began filing toward the reception area, James scanned the crowd for an appropriate place to sit during the informal discussions that would follow. The seating arrangements in galactic collective gatherings followed strict hierarchical protocols. Junior species representatives typically occupied the outer rings, while established civilizations claimed the inner circles. As the newest member, species humans were expected to observe from the periphery, a position James understood, even if it stung his pride slightly. He moved toward what appeared to be an acceptable section when a gentle but firm grip encircled his forearm. James turned to find himself face to face with Queen Veltara of the Zephyrian Empire, her crystalline features refracting the chamber's ambient light into prismatic rainbows across her translucent skin. "Sit next to me," she said, in perfect, unaccented English that bypassed the translation system entirely. The chamber fell silent. Every conversation stopped mid-sentence as hundreds of alien eyes, sensors, and perception organs focused on the unprecedented scene unfolding before them. James felt his heart hammering against his ribs as he processed the implications of the Queen's invitation. Queen Veltara ruled the most powerful civilization in the local galactic cluster. Her species had achieved faster than light travel when humanity was still discovering agriculture. For her to invite a human, any human, to sit in the inner circle was not just unusual, it was revolutionary. "Your Majesty," James managed, his diplomatic training kicking in despite his shock. "I'm honored, but protocol suggests—" "Protocol?" the Queen interrupted with what James had learned to recognize as the Zephyrian equivalent of an amused smile. "Is what we make it. Your species has already proven that conventional wisdom has its limitations." She gestured toward the inner circle where her crystalline throne waited beside an ornate chair that had materialized from the chamber's programmable matter systems. James glanced toward Naz, who had descended from the speaker's platform, and now watched the scene with barely contained amazement. "If I may ask, Your Majesty, what has humanity done to earn such consideration?" Queen Veltara's laugh resonated like wind chimes in a gentle breeze. 3 months ago, when the Korthak Syndicate blockaded our trade routes through the Veil Nebula, every established species offered the same solutions we had tried for decades. Military intervention, economic sanctions, diplomatic pressure, all approaches that had failed repeatedly. James nodded, remembering the crisis that had threatened to destabilize the entire sector's economy. "But your Naz," the Queen continued. She suggested something no one had considered in 3 centuries of collective membership. She proposed we simply ask the Korthaks why they were really blockading the routes. The memory brought a smile to James's face. While the collective's greatest minds had assumed the Korthaks' actions were motivated by greed or territorial expansion, Naz had insisted on treating them as equals worthy of direct communication. Her simple question had revealed that the Korthaks were actually trying to protect their spawning grounds from the electromagnetic interference caused by faster-than-light engines. Within a week, Queen Veltara said. We had established new shipping lanes that avoided their sacred spaces entirely, a solution that satisfied everyone, discovered through the radical approach of treating supposed enemies as fellow sentient beings with legitimate concerns. She began walking toward the inner circle, her grip on James's arm gentle but insistent. Your species possesses something that we in our ancient wisdom had apparently forgotten. The humility to assume we might not understand everything, and the courage to ask simple questions that reveal complex truths. As they approached the crystalline throne, other senior delegates parted respectfully. James noticed that many were studying him with what appeared to be newfound interest rather than the dismissive curiosity he had grown accustomed to. Today, Queen Veltara announced as they reached their seats, we begin a new tradition. The newest member species will always be invited to share the inner circle, not as observers, but as full participants. Their fresh perspectives may prove as valuable as our accumulated experience. James settled into his chair, acutely aware that he was making history with every breath. Around the circle, representatives from civilizations older than Earth's son nodded their approval of the Queen's decision. Your Majesty, he said quietly, humanity won't forget this honor. See that you don't, she replied with warmth that transcended species barriers. Because tomorrow, when the next newest species arrives, you will be the ones extending the invitation to sit in this circle. As the formal discussions resumed, James caught Naz's eye across the chamber. Her proud smile told him everything he needed to know about humanity's future among the stars. They had found their place not through conquest or superior technology, but through the simple recognition that every voice, no matter how young or inexperienced, deserved to be heard. The galaxy had just become a little bit smaller and infinitely more hopeful.